Hey there, welcome back to this video. Are you tired of spending hours configuring your own authentication system? Have you considered using AWS Cognito as a third-party provider instead? Let me talk more about it in this section of this course. First, we'll talk about how time-consuming it is to set up your own authentication system. There are many components involved such as sign-up, sign-in, password reset, multi-factor authentication, and more. Each of these components require careful consideration of security measures and implementation details. You also need to worry about scalability, performance, and maintenance. All of this can take a lot of time and effort, which could be better spent on other aspects of your application. Furthermore, we'll be talking about AWS Cognito pools. On the screen, we displayed some basic list of AWS Cognito pools and a brief explanation of each. Number one, which is user pool, are the primary feature of AWS Cognito, and they provide user registration, authentication, and account management. Secondly, will be identity pool. Identity pools provide temporary AWS credentials to AWS services on behalf of your users. The third one will be social identity providers. Cognito supports social identity providers such as Amazon, Facebook, Google, and Twitter, allowing users to sign in to your account and manage their profile. The fourth one would be SAM identity providers. Cognito supports SAML identity providers, which allows users to sign in using their enterprise credentials. SAML identity providers can be useful if your application needs to integrate with an existing enterprise authentication system. The fifth one would be OpenID. OpenID Connect identity providers also support OpenID Connect identity, which allows users to sign into the existing OpenID, such as Google or Microsoft's. OpenID Connect identity providers can provide a secure and convenient way for users to authenticate your application. So we'll move ahead to how does AWS Cognito work. You might be wondering, how does this happen out of the box in your application? But it doesn't just happen like that. You have to set up some certain things to make sure it's done successfully. First off, you create a user pool, which is a secure user directory that stores your user's data, including username, password, and optional attributes such as email or phone number. Then the second step will be to configure your user pool setting, such as password policies, multi-factor authentication, and custom email templates. The third step will be to integrate your application with Cognito using one of several SDKs or APIs. We all know the meaning of SDK or API. This allows your users to sign up and sign in to their accounts stored on your user pool. That is, using the credentials stored on your user pool. The fourth step will be when a user signs in, Cognito returns a set of tokens that you can use to authenticate and authorize the user's request to your application's API or resources. The fifth and final step will be you can also use Cognito to federate other identity providers such as social login providers, which are Facebook, Google, Twitter, GitHub, etc., or enterprise identity providers such as Active Directory, SAML, etc. In addition, user pools, Cognito provides identity pools, which allow your user to obtain temporary AWS credentials to access AWS services. This can be useful if your application needs to access AWS resources on behalf of your users, such as uploading files to S3. Overall, AWS Cognito is a powerful and flexible authentication and user management solution that can save you time and effort when building your applications. So if you're looking for a way to simplify your authentication workflow, AWS Cognito might be worth considering. And that's what we'll be looking into at this section of the course.